So we're going to try something a little bit different this time, some spoken word commentary. So this is the Castlewood July 2019 match that I shot this past weekend. Castlewood's a little bit smaller than LCSA typically, and there are usually fewer mid-range shooters like me. It's a lot of high-end competition and then a lot of beginners and recreational shooters. So there usually aren't perfect benchmarks, but it's also a nice relaxed atmosphere. And the start is at 10 a.m., which is pretty great. There's also typically a lot more running in Castlewood stage designs than there is at LCSA, and that usually works out well for me because I am young and still fairly quick. So this is not a talking video, but a shooting video, so we're going to get on to the first stage. That one's freestyle, so it's just kind of shoot him as you see him.
Are you ready? Stand by.
So this is stage 3. I was shooting with the match director, and that's where we happened to kick things off for the day. Worth noting that I'm not really a USPSA expert. I'm kind of a mid-C shooter. So if I say something that sounds wrong and you are better than me, you're probably right. So leave a comment if that's the case. So on this one, I hit the no-shoot right on the right side, right out of the gate, which I felt like threw me off on the stage, but on watching it again, I'm pretty happy with my performance here. I didn't melt down totally when I made an early mistake, which is one of my typical problems, and I had a decent reload, which I needed because of the no-shoot makeup shot I had to take. This is stage 4. The stage description required us to start in box B, that's the second one from the left, and that each array be engaged from the corresponding box or port.
Are you ready? Stand by. You put it down. Shaky on the way at 180, Jay.
Yeah, I think you probably should have DQ'd there.
You came pretty close.
So first things first, the 180 violation maybe. I wasn't sure about it on the stage. If I had to make the call based on the video, I would have disqualified myself, which I said at the end of the stage, as you just heard. But the RO didn't call it, the assistant RO didn't call it, and the match director was watching too, and he didn't call it. So I guess maybe I was just close. It's, I don't know. I think I probably still might have broken it at some point there. It looks pretty clear on the video, but I'm going to defer to the ROs who are, watching me for that kind of thing. Anyway, that threw me off pretty much altogether on the stage. I hit a couple of no-shoots, and one of them was a mic. At the last port, I just kind of stopped and decided to try and shoot for alphas, and, hit a couple. Not a great stage. Not my best of the day at all. This is stage 5. The stage briefing required the handgun to be unloaded on the barrel to start, along with the initial magazine. It also required that the left and right targets be engaged from the far left box, the steels be engaged from the center box, and the remaining 4 paper targets be engaged from the right box.
Get ready, Jay. Which box are you going to first one? Which box are you going to?
That way.
Roger that. Are you ready? Stand by.
So I did hit that final popper that I missed. I hit it low, though, and it did not fall on calibration, so I guess it was just pretty close to spec. It caused trouble for some shooters in the squad following us, too. They came by and asked one of us for a calibration, since only one guy in their squad was shooting minor. And it didn't fall for him either, so I don't feel too bad about it. PCCs were actually really slow on this stage because of the mandatory reloads and the fairly short runs.
Ready. Stand by. Recharge if necessary. Are you ready? Stand by. You finished, unload and show clear.
I am usually a terrible one-handed shooter, so I feel pretty good about shooting this at a low C percentage, which is what it was, in like a 46 or so. I've been trending a little bit higher than that in recent classifiers, but given that I so rarely practice one-handed shooting, especially weak-handed shooting, I'm relatively happy with this. My draw on the first string was pretty slow, so was the reload. The second string was better mechanically. I need to work, I think, more on my strong-hand shooting than my weak-hand shooting, because the way my two-handed grip works, I feel like the wrist is bent a bit more than it should be for the one-handed strong hand. This is stage 1. The start position is in the box at the in the corner of the wall there, and that box is not part of the free fire zone, so you have to move into the fault lines to shoot.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Stand by. Finished. Unload and show clear.
This was probably my best stage of the day. It was the one that had the most planning required, the most thinking to be done, and I can't take credit for coming up with the plan I did. That was somebody else on my squad, and seemed like it was the play to make. I was actually the fastest carry-optic shooter on this squad, but the least accurate. If I'd shot a few more A's, I probably would have won the stage. This is stage 2. The boards there are wobble boards, and you have to engage the center array from the back board, the left array from the middle board, and the right array from the front board.
Are you ready? Stand by.
A little bit of gamer stage planning on this. The stage description didn't say facing downrange in the start, so I started facing where I was going. And any benefit I got from that was entirely counteracted by probably the dumbest makeup shot I think I've ever taken. I think I ended up with 2 Charlie on that target scored. I don't recall if I had 3 holes. And if I did have 3 holes on that target, that would have made it the very dumbest makeup shot I've ever taken. The wobble boards were fun. I probably would have had high hit factor on the squad if I didn't take that last makeup shot, and feel pretty good about it generally. Another second place thing. So that's the match. As you can see, I came in 6th in carry optics, 13 out of 42 handguns, and 2251 overall, which speaks to one of my little recent bugbears about how scoring PCCs in with the rest of us handgun shooters is kind of a bother, because it's very much a different game, especially given that the start positions are so different. Back on the classifier, you'll see that I scored 43% overall and 72% compared to the handguns overall, which it's a awfully big difference, because the handgun start position was arms reached overhead, and you can't do that with a PCC. So yeah, I think it should be probably scored differently. I scored just about the same as I did in the classifier. It was 21st overall there and 22nd overall in the match as a whole, and my handgun and carry optics positions were the same. So I guess maybe classifiers are an accurate way to determine match ranking after all. I think middle of the pack is fair, given that I had a couple of good stages, but also a couple of flubbed ones. And yeah, that's one thing to work on: mental toughness in the face of mistakes, and also be perennial. Make sure you're pointing your gun downrange all the time. Yeah, I do feel good about those last 3 stages, though. A lot of good there to build on, and hopefully I can keep on kind of working on my, that one-handed shooting and the accuracy to push those results better. Thanks for watching.